Hello, I'm Robert, and from the I Try to Reproduce Cakes That Inspire Me series, I saw this cake on Instagram, and although I don't like Oreos at all, I have to admit it looks very, very good, so I'll try to reproduce it. Stay until the end to see how close or not I came. If I had the inspiration, I would have shot this video in black and white so it would be like an Oreo. Okay, we'll make a super simple and super fast sponge, but I want to show you how to get a very black sponge so that your cake looks as much as possible like an Oreo. And so, in a bowl, I put 200 grams of flour, 60 grams of cocoa, 7 grams of baking soda, and 7 grams of baking powder. And you'll see here that I have two types of cocoa, a normal cocoa and a very dark black cocoa. This one from Von Houten, and this sponge comes out quite dark anyway, but with this black cocoa it will be even more black. I put half and half because this black cocoa is quite bitter and I want to have a balance between good taste and a dark color. If you want a super dark sponge, use only the black cocoa, or if you want a slightly tastier sponge but not quite so black, use only regular cocoa or, as I did, a combination of the two. Okay, we mix them with a whisk. Separately, in another bowl, 80 grams of oil, 133 grams of milk and 133 grams of buttermilk. I know some of you wrote to me and said that you cannot find buttermilk where you are, so you can replace that with kefir or drinking yogurt or any fermented dairy that you can find. 2 eggs and add 200 grams of sugar and I'll mix them. And I simply pour the wet ingredients over the dry ingredients and mix just until homogenized. I will divide the dough into two 18 centimeter molds and will bake them for about 20 minutes at 180 degrees, no fan. I wanted to tell you to be careful with this Von Houten cocoa because they have both reddish cocoa, normal cocoa, and this black cocoa. So if you buy it, make sure it's the black one and not some other variety. I'm sure you thought it was super easy to make the sponge, but wait and see how easy the cream is. And here as well, I want to give you some tricks to make it even easier for you. In a bowl of a standard mixer or in a bowl and using a hand mixer, I put 270 grams of butter, 2 vanilla essences and 180 grams of powdered sugar. And because I had the butter a little colder, I put this bowl on a steam bath for a few minutes just to soften up the butter. The ideal would be so the butter is at room temperature so that it foams very easily, and that is exactly what we're going to do. We're gonna foam the butter. Whip the butter very well until it almost doubles in volume and lightens in color. Then add 675 grams of cream cheese. I use this cream cheese from Ellenvere, but you can use whichever you want, like Philadelphia or whatever you prefer. We put the cold cheese over the room temperature butter. And we mix again. and we get a very creamy and fluffy soft cream cheese. And from this quantity I want to remove 600 grams, which I will use to fill the cake. I put the rest of the cream aside for the outside of the cake and for the decorations. And in this amount of 600 grams, I want to add Oreos. Now, here you have the option to buy Oreos from which you remove the filling, crumble them, and then put them in the cream, or don't remove the filling and crumble them and put them in, or Oreo makes this type of crumbs and powder, which are crushed or powdered biscuits. And this is what I will use. I add 75 grams of crumbs. We transfer the cream cheese with crumbs into a piping bag, and we fill the cake using approximately 225 grams on each layer. For the top of the cake I used about 175 grams of cheese from the crumb-free cream, and I will level it nicely. I'll put the cake in the fridge for a while so the cream hardens, and then we'll take care of the decoration. For the decoration, the first thing I want to do are the top swirls, because I want to make sure I have enough cream. And after that, with the rest, I will very thinly coat the sides of the cake, because I will sprinkle them with Oreos after that anyway. A pastry bag fitted with the M1 tip from Wilton, and I'll try to make 8 swirls. We'll see how it turns out. It seemed to me that I didn't have enough cream to make the swirls, so I stopped at 6. And in between them I will put Oreo cookies. And as I said, I use the rest of the cream for the outside of the cake. I just need a thin layer for the Oreo powder to adhere to. If you want to avoid this problem, you can either make more cream from the start or put a little less cream inside the cake so you have more for the outside. I thought that these quantities would be okay, and I trusted that it would be enough for the cake, and it turned out it was enough, and I still had just a little bit of cream left at the end. Okay, the last step, Oreo powder on the side, or as I told you, if you want you can use the top of the sponges, dry them a bit in the oven and process them with a food processor, and you can use that to coat the cake. Leave a comment and tell me if you think I got close enough to the inspiration cake with this one, or maybe not. This was the video for today. I hope you liked it, and as usual, I'll see you the next time. Thank you, bye bye.